Hello and welcome to our channel, Tech Expert Tutorials. In this video, we will show you how to install MongoDB version 8 on Windows. We will also show you how to run some commands to set up databases and collections, insert some data, and create database accounts. Finally, we give a demo on using MongoDB in a Python application. Here are some of the main reasons to choose MongoDB over a relational database. MongoDB stores data in collections and documents, not in tables. This makes it more flexible. It can easily store data that is not consistent between items, even if it changes over time. It offers high performance and is scalable. MongoDB offers indexing and sharding to improve throughput and has replication for high availability. Also, it is easy to develop in many modern application environments and can be used in many programming languages. We will be giving a demo on how to use MongoDB in Python later in this video. Finally, there's a large community of developers that have built an assortment of tools and integrations for MongoDB. Okay, let's get started. First, we will install MongoDB. Search for these keywords in Google and then open the link at mongodb.com. This is the page for installing the free community edition. Version 8.0 is the latest version available. There are 3 different files you can use to install this database server. We will download the .msi file version for simplicity. There is a separate link for installing the MongoDB shell only, which you can use to run instructions from a command line shell. You'll need to have Windows 11, Server 2019, or Server 2022 as your OS. Here are some step-by-step instructions that you can use to follow along with. Click on the MongoDB Download Center link. Scroll to the bottom and click on the download link. Save the file and wait for it to finish downloading. Then either click on the MSI file from here or open the downloads folder and click on the file from there. This will start the installation wizard. Accept the terms and click on Next. We are selecting Custom to show you more details on what will be installed with what options. Here you see the server, router, and tools folders. Keep all 3 selected and click Next. We normally run this database as a service, so it will start up and run automatically every time we reboot. Here we select the network service user. The other selection requires a separate account and is not necessary. The network service user has a required access. You can change the name of the service. This is what will appear in the services application. On the screen, you can select a different data and log storage directory. If this was production, you would want to set this up on a different disk drive for more reliability, in case the C drive has issues. Of course, you would also set up backups, also on a different disk for added reliability. We will keep the defaults. Click Next. You can install MongoDB Compass, a simple and useful GUI to interact with your MongoDB databases. We'll leave this as selected. We're going to show you how to use this later. Click Next. Then click on Install and wait for this to finish. If you only want to install Compass, search for MongoDB Compass Windows install and go to this web page. Compass won't work on a virtual desktop. In that case, you would use the MongoDB shell. Compass does have some requirements. They are listed here. To download, click on the Downloads page and follow the instructions. There are several versions available. The latest stable version is 1.45.1. Click on the Download button and wait for the download to finish. To install, run the executable file. Once it is finished installing, it will open to a new window. To use this, we'll need to add a new connection. The default will be the local server that you just installed on. Port should be 27017. Give this a name, then click on Save and Connect. After it connects, you will see 3 default databases: admin, config, and local. To create a new database here, click on the plus button and select Create Database. There are other options available by clicking on the 3 ellipses. We won't cover these today. Then select the name and a collection name. You can store time series data here. We're just covering JSON data today. We name it TestDB for database and member for collection. Click on Create Database. You should see the new database and collection now. To add new data, one option is to add them one at a time by clicking on the Add Data button and pasting in one item in the document. Note the format for one record. Click Insert. You should see the one document added now. An underscore ID field is added automatically as an equivalent to a primary key. This can be used to refer to this document later. Now we're going to add 3 documents at a time. we need to change the format slightly for multiple records. We see an error here. To fix this, you'll need to add square brackets around the documents to indicate this is an array of documents. Okay, now we can insert the records. There should be 10 documents stored now. You can also import from a file. Here's a file with 10 more documents that we will add next. Notice that we reset the collection, only keeping the original member document. Select Import JSON or CSV file, then select our JSON file. Click on Import. You can stop on any errors or ignore the documents with errors and continue. When we are finished, we have 11 documents now. One of them is a duplicate, but the ID value it was given is different. To delete this record, click on the trash can and then click Delete. Document count is now at 10. To search for a record by name, use this format, then click Find. The triangles can be expanded to see the values. You can also update records from here by clicking the Update button. To go back and see all the records, delete the search field and click Find again. There is also an option for aggregating and even creating multiple stages in the aggregation pipeline. Or you can explore your schema to get statistics on the data. These are topics for a more advanced session. We have one index in our collection, the default ID index. Indexes are used for optimizing query performance. You can also add validation rules to limit your JSON input to a certain format or structure. Next, we'll show you some sample queries you can use on your data. So we go back to the Documents tab. You can see your query history for this session. Here are all the records where the city is New York. To filter based on one value or another, use the $or function with two fields and values to match, like this. There are 3 records that match to City of New York or age of 25. This is how to run an AND function. Only one document matches. Here is an example of using the NOT function. Here we'll find any value that is not equal to John Doe. Here is a way to look for values greater than or equal. Now we'll show you how to use the MongoDB shell. Click on the Open MongoDB shell button. A shell should open. The use testdb command will allow you to run commands on this database without having to type it in every time. To see all the documents in your collection, type in dbmember.find with parentheses, then hit enter. You should see all the items in JSON format. You can type in CLS and hit enter to clear the screen. Now, we will create a user account. This is the syntax with the username, initial password, and the permissions or roles to grant. Here we are granting permission to our testdb database with read-write permissions only. Hit enter. You see an OK and a 1 here. This means we're successful. The account should be created now. To verify, type in db get users like this. You'll see the account info here. Show users gives you more detailed information on each user, including the values in the arrays that were hidden before. Okay, now we'll use this account in an example Python script. Here's our Python script in a Jupyter notebook running in VS Code. For more details on how to use this combination, see our previous video on this, link in the description below. First, we need to set up a new Python environment with all the libraries we will use in our script. Open a terminal, copy and paste the 3 kind of commands into the terminal, then wait for them to finish. The first command creates the environment with the name of MongoDB. The second command activates that environment. The third command installs all the necessary Python packages and applications that will be used in the notebook. If you make a mistake, here's a command to delete the environment you created and start over. We'll store our MongoDB credentials in an environment variable to use it later. Next, we need to set up our environment as a Jupyter kernel so we can use it inside of our Jupyter notebook. Now we can select this environment as our kernel. Click on the upper right where it says base, then select another kernel. Look for MongoDB and select it. MongoDB should show up in the upper right. This means you are using this kernel or Python environment now. To run, we import PyMongo from the Mongo client package, along with the basic OS and JSON packages. Here's a function to read in a JSON file and load the contents into a variable. We have included a couple of common error handlers. Next, we get the password from the environment variable named MongoDB_pwd. This is the format for the URL or connection string. We include the credentials for automation. Remember to add the auth source parameter. Now we create a Mongo client with a connection string. We will be using the testDB database. Once we are connected and the database is set, we run the find command on the member collection here and print it out. Output is accurate and complete. Now we use the JSON read file function with the documents.json file as input. The documents variable includes the JSON from the file. This is what the file looks like, normal JSON formatting. Here we set the collection name to member. To insert the documents, we use the insert many function within the collection and print out the result. We see the list of IDs that were created for each document. Finally, we close the connection. Go back to the Compass IDE, click Find, and we can see 10 more documents in the collection. This is one of the documents that was added. There is so much more you can do with MongoDB. We just touched on a few of the basic capabilities today. Okay, that's all we have for today. Want to learn more about setting up desktop and online databases to store, query, and analyze data? See our other videos for other database options, and stay tuned for future videos where we will explore these topics in more detail. Link is in the description below. Thanks for watching our video. Comments and suggestions are appreciated. See you next time.